Hey, welcome back to Built from Scratch Machine Shop. We're kind of doing a brief series. I'm shooting a whole bunch of videos at once, which is why you're noticing my shirt hasn't changed. I don't machine this every day, but I've got a lot I wanted to cover, and I figured you might want to see some of those things. So, one of the things we need to talk about is this stuff right here. So, if you watch my Christmas channel, I talk about RGB pixels on occasion, and these are... there's a little computer chip in there. These are individually addressable Christmas lights. Basically, you can turn any light on, off, any color. You can make patterns, all sorts of things with these Christmas lights. And this is what I spent most of my early machining life working on, is developing solutions for working with this. And today we're going to cover one of the biggest banes of my existence and the one product that basically sunk my whole budding company. Looking at you, Boscoyo. Boscoyo. I don't know how to pronounce your name. But anyway, you're the one company that sunk my company. So long ago, people were attaching these RGB pixels onto this pallet strap. And they were doing that with electrical tape and zip ties. So they would do a wrap of electrical tape, they do zip ties, and they put these on individually, right? So they were all individually on this pallet banding strap. And I met a gentleman that was a part of our local Christmas light group, even though he lived in Florida, and he came and visited us and was showing off his pictures of his giant Christmas tree that he could do patterns and colors and voices and faces and all sorts of stuff on this Christmas tree. And it was put together with this banding strap. And when he came and saw us, his arm was actually in a sling because he'd done so many zip ties and so much electrical tape when building this that he actually developed a repetitive stress injury. So after I saw that, I was like, gosh, there's got to be another way that's better to do that. And then I came up with this product here. This was originally marketed as the Rainy Oregon Christmas Pixel Clip, or the Pixel Clip. And I designed it so that it would fit on this pallet banding strap. So you just come in here, you clip it on there, and then you could take the lights. Here, we'll put it on the right way. Right, so it goes on there. Then you could just take this pixel clip, try not to break it, so I don't have a lot of those left, and it would hold it onto that pallet banding strap. And I sold, I think, 100,000 of those or so, which sounds like a lot, but it really wasn't in the grand scheme of things. So I released this to the market, and as soon as it released to the market to the general Christmas lighting group, he popped onto one of our Facebook forums or Lightorama forums or one of those, and he says, hey, I've got a product coming that's going to revolutionize how you do those trees. Just wait. And that one post ruined my business. It ruined my business for this clip. Because what he had developed was this, which is a pixel strip. So you can take these same Christmas lights, and rather than putting them on a clip, you would just push them through into this material, and it would hold them, and then this supported itself. This one product single-handedly destroyed my company. I'll just be honest about that. So now that I was losing my company because of this, I realized that what I needed to do was actually make products that fit this. So I developed something a little bit different, and I switched gears from making clips, and I still made all my trees and my other components, but I decided that I was going to help people out because, again, I was reading the forums, and guys were taking these, and it's kind of a silicon rubberized thing, and they're pushing it through, and they were developing massive blisters and problems with their hands. So I was like, aha, I know what I can do. I can develop a tool to push those into there easier so that guys aren't getting repetitive stress injuries. You guys get a kind of running theme there. When you're a machinist and repetitive stress is on your mind, you think about it a lot. So I started thinking about it. I'm like, gosh, well, if I take a pair of pliers and I extend it out, then you could come in and you could shove these in with a pair of pliers and it would just push it through. But I needed to support that back piece. So I started thinking about it, and I came up with this. So this is a piece of 1-inch tubing. That's a 1-inch square tubing. It's been, actually I had it welded. Don't know why I did. And then I machined the other part, and I was trying to design something that would fit on this banding strap, right? So you can see that. So it fits in there, right? And then you can line it up. And what you would do is you take your pixel, line up your wires just like that. Okay, so there's your pixel, and these are pixel pliers. You would load your banding strap on here, and like that, squeeze it, and it would put your pixel through, right? So this was a set of pliers. Okay, and then you advance it through, and so on. So let me show you a little bit closer on that. All right, so there is our pixel. There's two little kind of wedges or burrs on there that's actually supposed to line up and catch that pixel into that pixel strip. And this is some of the original stuff. So this is 9 or 10 years old. So it's been quite a while. So anyway, let me show you how this was a little cumbersome, which is probably why it didn't catch on too much. Load it in there. Then you would drop this down, slide that in there, line your pixel up, and then you would clip it together. All right, just like that. Okay, that was my original plier design. And then I was like, gosh, this is a lot to machine. It's cumbersome, it's heavy. I don't really like it. But this was kind of like a proof of concept. And I wanted to start to use something like just standard pliers, just off-the-shelf standard pliers, because I could get a hold of those easier. So I started going through, and this was another prototype that I was working with. Aluminum, my favorite material, easy to work with. Same idea, you would come in, you'd load it like that, come in here, and then you would clip these down, and it would load your pixel through, right? It went fairly easy. So that was a prototype. This was a proof of concept, something I was working on with materials I had on hand, just rough tool, rough part. And then I was like, gosh, I need to go a little bit better. I want to use something where we've already got a plier design that's really rugged, that's really durable. And so then I designed this piece here, and this piece is designed to actually fit onto the pliers, and it's steel, so I could then weld it. And then this would be what supported the pixel strip. And then I had a piece that was like this, that I machined them out of steel. And that's where I came up with these pixel pliers. So this is welded on there, it's machined, and it works the same way. So we can take this piece here, hook that on there, right? Come in here, and then you could just go in, and you put your pixel in like that. All right, so there is pixel pliers. Let me do that again to make sure it's on. I don't like working with pixels. Okay, so come in, take the flats, load them in, come up along here, then you just squeeze till you feel it break through. Okay, kind of wiggle it, and pull it out, and there you go. That is pixel pliers. So with those, I started machining a bunch of these, and machining a bunch of these. I made a bunch of parts. Used all my bandsaw work, used my mill that I had at the time, and I machined a whole bunch of these. This was like the production version. And I went around, got all of those done. But I went around and I ended up clearing out all of my Harbor Freights and building these pixel pliers. And I must have sold 40 or 50 pairs of pixel pliers. So if you are in the Christmas light hobby and you wanted to know who invented the pixel plier, yeah, that was me. That was my original design, and these are the original designs that came with it. These are all the parts for those pixel plier tools. So there's the prototypes, and then there's the pieces that went with it. So these are original pixel pliers, and I shipped them to Canada. I shipped them to Australia. I think I shipped some to Europe. I shipped them all across the United States, and these were for people to use this palette strapping, or excuse me, this pixel strip, and put these RGB pixels in it. So that was what it was designed for. So has that support. You come in, you squeeze that, lock it down. Okay, so like this. Boom. Right. Down and done. And that was the Pixel Pliers. So that was another one of my inventions. So in the history of Christmas lighting, that was me. I was the one that invented the Pixel Pliers. So there you go. There is all the progression of Pixel Pliers as they went through. Actually, it goes in this order. And I don't have any of these. I don't think I have any of these that are not done. I think when I ran out of those, I was pretty much done. That's 1-inch steel bar stock, so that was a lot of work. But that was the pixel strip, and the product that basically killed my company when I was doing this. So I had to switch to tools. So I was designing a lot of tooling. But anyway, yeah, there you go. Pixel pliers and pixels for the hobby Christmas light industry. And that was because my part that I created and I had my mold made for got obsoleted 6 months after I made it. But this was the easy way to put things together. Just mold them in and that locked in. So there's the OG, the original gangster, and that's what replaced me. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about RGB pixels and pixel strips and kind of where everything originated and how I took rough prototypes and came up with finished products that I did sell internationally, basically. So that was my product. That was my invention. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying seeing a little bit of the history of what I've done and the things that I've designed and kind of how they really impacted the hobby Christmas light industry, you know, the musical Christmas houses. That was the original product right there. So before this hit the market, there was nothing out there to mount these RGB pixels. I was the first to market on that with any product, to be able to put these lights on anything. And then those pixel strips came out 6 months later and basically dissolved me from being the head honcho on that. So yeah, those pixel strips right there. I haven't regretted it. You know, would I have liked to have had a fully running company? Yeah, but I'll admit, it's a better product. Simpler, cheaper. Now it's industry standard for hobbyists on that. I got beat out. I was first to market, but I still got beat out because my idea, I was thinking too robust, too industrial. This is simple. That's much easier. But anyway, that is another thing, and I'm going to shoot a couple more videos on a few of the other parts that I've designed and let you see how those go. But I hope you've been enjoying. Really, I hope you take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, to follow along with us, and help support us as we try to grow from a garage shop into a full machine shop. So click that subscribe button, enroll, follow us, comment. If you see something here that you like, other than my pixel pliers, because these are my originals, I'll keep them forevers and evers. That really shows the history of my machining. But if you see stuff that you like, just go ahead and drop me a line, and I'd be more than happy to sell some of this stuff to you so that I can bring that income in and buy some of the machinery that I had to part with, but I want back to rebuild my machine shop. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you are learning something. Built from Scratch Machine Shop, out.